Imagine you're 5 years old, lost in a country of over 1 billion people. You don't know your last name. You don't know the name of your town, and you can't find your way back to your family. This isn't the plot of a movie. It's the true story of a little boy named Sru. It all started on a sweltering night in 1986, in a small town in India. 5-year-old Sru was tagging along with his older brother, Gudu, who was looking for work at a nearby train station. The boys were inseparable, and Sru looked up to Gudu more than anyone. But that night, little Sru was exhausted. He begged his brother to let him rest. Gudu told him to wait on a bench at the station and promised he'd be back soon. Sru fell into a deep sleep. When he woke up, the station was empty. Gudu was gone. Panicked, Sru searched everywhere. He spotted an empty train sitting at the platform end, thinking his brother might be on board. He climbed inside to look for him. The train was deserted, still exhausted. He curled up on a seat and fell asleep again. This time, when he awoke, the world had changed. The train was thundering down the tracks, carrying him further and further away from everything he knew. For what felt like an eternity, the train sped through the Indian countryside. There was no food, no water, and no one to help. When the train finally stopped, Sru stumbled out into a chaotic, overwhelming city. He had arrived in Kolkata, nearly 1,500 kilometers away from his home. He didn't speak the local language, Bengali, and the name of his hometown, Ganestale, was a mispronunciation he couldn't explain. He was just another lost child in a city of millions. For weeks, Sru lived on the streets, surviving by his wits. He learned to beg for food and to be wary of strangers. He slept under bridges and in train stations, constantly in danger. He narrowly escaped being captured by people who preyed on vulnerable children. It was a terrifying existence for a boy so young. Finally, a kind teenager noticed him and took him to a police station. But even the police couldn't help. They had no way of tracing a little boy who didn't know where he came from. Sru was eventually placed in an orphanage. It was safer than the streets, but he desperately missed his family, his mother, his brother Gudu, and his little sister. After a few months, he was told he was being adopted by a family from the other side of the world, in Australia. He was flown to Tasmania, to a new home with loving parents, Sue and John Riley. He learned English, went to school, and grew up as an Australian. He had a new life, a good life. But the memories of his first family never faded. The face of his mother, the sound of his brother's voice, they were ghosts that haunted his dreams. Years turned into decades. Sru Brierley was now a young man, a successful businessman living in Australia. But the question of his origins gnawed at him. He felt a deep sense of guilt, and an unbearable longing to know what happened to his family. Were they still looking for him? Did they think he was gone forever? He knew he had to try to find them, but how? All he had were the fragmented memories of a 5-year-old boy. A train station, a water tower, a bridge over a river. The task seemed impossible. Then, in the mid-2000s, a revolutionary tool emerged, Google Earth. For the first time in history, anyone could explore the entire planet from their computer. A spark of hope ignited in Sru. Maybe, just maybe, he could find his way home. So began an epic digital search. Every night, after work, Sru would sit at his computer, his heart pounding with a mix of hope and despair. He knew the train ride had lasted roughly 14 hours. He estimated the train's speed at about 80 kilometers per hour. With this rough calculation, he drew a search radius on a map of India, with Kolkata at its center, The search area was vast, a sprawling web of thousands of train lines. It was like looking for a single grain of sand on an endless beach, night after night, for years. Shrew painstakingly followed every railway line that radiated out from Kolkata. He zoomed in on every station, every town, every landmark, comparing them to the faint pictures in his mind. He scanned the landscape for a water tower near a train station, for a bridge over a gorge, for the unique layout of the place he once called home. Many times, he almost gave up. The sheer scale of the search was overwhelming, and the emotional toll was immense. But the image of his mother's face kept him going. Then, one night in 2011, after 5 long years of searching, it happened. He was tracing a line heading southwest from Kolkata when he saw something familiar. A town with a name that sent shivers down his spine, Khandwa. Within Khandwa, he found a neighborhood named Ganeshtolai. His childhood mispronunciation, Ganestale, suddenly made sense. His heart raced. He zoomed in further. There it was. The water tower he remembered so clearly. The footbridge over the tracks. The fountain where he used to play. It was all there, exactly as he remembered it. He had found it. He had found his home. The journey wasn't over. Shrew booked a flight to India and travelled to Khandwa. He walked through the dusty streets, a stranger in his own hometown. The landmarks from Google Earth were now real, tangible. He followed the familiar paths until he reached the door of a humble house. An older woman stood outside. Shrew looked at her, and the years melted away. It was his mother, Fatima. She didn't recognize him at first. How could she? The little boy she had lost was now a tall man. But when Shrew told her his name and mentioned his brother Gudu, her eyes widened in disbelief. She led him inside and pointed to a faded photograph of a little boy. It was him. After 25 years of separation, a mother and son were reunited. The reunion was bittersweet. Shrew learned the tragic news that his brother, Gudu, had died on the very same night they were separated, in a train accident. Shrew's incredible story of loss, perseverance, and the power of technology became a global sensation. It was turned into a best-selling book. The Long Way Home, and later, the Oscar-nominated film Lion. His journey is a powerful testament to the enduring strength of hope, the unbreakable bond of family, and the idea that no matter how lost you are, there is always a way back home. It shows us that even in a world of billions, every single person's story matters. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. We'll see you in the next one.